Alright guys, today without a doubt we're going to be talking about the best Death Knight add-on that you can possibly install that will literally improve your Parses on Warcraft logs by a country mile. So we are going to be talking about Fonsas' next action helper, which is essentially a rotation helping weak aura. Now I know what people are automatically going to be thinking, a rotation helper? Is that some like crap like spell flash? Only noobs use rotation helpers. And they are always, inaccurate and they're never going to get you pumping the maximum DPS. Well, let me tell you that the author of this add-on, Fonsas, did actually get the top DPS in the world. That's all classes, not just Death Knights, on Patchwork. So obviously a fight where you can just sit and perfect your rotation. So that should dispel all the myths that you think about rotation helpers. For me personally, this week aura has helped out a truckload because obviously I'm spending like 60 to 80 hours per week editing videos and doing other kinds of work. I only really have time to turn up for the raid. I don't really have time to just sit and practice playing my Death Knight or joining pugs to practice or anything like that. And using this week aura, my Parses basically went from epic Parses to legendary Parses instantaneously. And I don't even have like great trinkets. Like I have... I don't have Meteorite and I don't have the Dark Moon card. And if you want all of my weak auras that you can see on the screen right now, and obviously a full detailed video on how to set up my UI, my subscriber only video has that all on there. And as I've been making this video, it looks like the weak aura has actually been updated today to have this little global cooldown timer, which is very, very useful also. So let me show you the weak aura in action. Before you go into combat, it's going to tell you to do the basics, like for instance reminding you to open combat in Unholy Presence if you haven't switched back to Unholy Presence. Then it's going to remind you need to put Ghoul Frenzy as a pre-pop, and then also stuff like Horn of Winter. And then when you see Icy Touch, that means you've done everything that you can possibly do pre-pull. So when you're in combat, it obviously goes through all of the different actions that you can do. It reminds you to Blood Strike to remain your Desolation buff. It's going to remind you, obviously, as you can see here, there's a little box recommending when to use Empower Rune Weapon. So that bar is going to fill up, basically, when it's a better time to use Empower Rune Weapon. So when you've like totally depleted your runes, like I just have now, it's saying that this is a good time to pop Empower Rune Weapon. It will actually also eventually remind you to go into Blood Presence, after you've popped your Gargoyle and stuff like that. As you can see, it's reminding me to go into Blood Presence right now. Let's imagine I did pop it. And as you can see there, it will also tell you when is the best time to use obviously a Blood Tap. Normally, it will recommend using a Blood Tap if you need to refresh Ghoul Frenzy quickly before that falls off, or use it on Blood Strike if that buff is going to fall off, but then sometimes it tells you to use it on a Blood Boil so that you can very quickly sneak in an extra Blood Boil before you have to obviously go back to refreshing your diseases. And obviously Blood Boil benefits from extra damage when your diseases are on the target. Another great thing I like about this add-on is it is going to recommend perfect timing on when to wait on your runes and benefit from Rune Grace for Death and Decay, so it should do that very soon. Yeah, you see now it's going to basically tell you the best time to use Death and Decay, and that's very nice because sometimes you're waiting for Death and Decay to become available and you have other runes available and you're like, do I use Icy Touch or do I Plague Strike? And you have to look at your runes. There's a lot to look at to figure out whether you should be waiting on your runes or just using them. But this week I was just going to tell you, right, just wait for Death and Decay. And then sometimes it changes its mind for some reason, but I guarantee if you just follow the weak aura as if it is the gospel of the Titans or the old gods in World of Warcraft or anything like that, I guarantee you your DPS is just going to rocket through the roof. Like I said in my most recent raid, when I started following this weak aura religiously, my DPS and my Parses did improve quite a lot. The weak aura isn't intelligent enough to recommend you the best time to pop your Gargoyle and stuff like that. I think that would be quite difficult to implement into a weak aura. That would require, some very difficult scripting. I don't even know if it is possible, to be honest, in weak auras to actually do that. So obviously you should be using other weak auras like I have on my subscriber only video that will track all the possible buffs that you can snapshot with your Gargoyle, like Mirror of Truth attack power buff, your Meteorite Stone, or obviously your Dark Moon card Greatness. because obviously you want to be popping Gargoyle with a maximum amount of haste and attack buffs that you can benefit from. And then you also want to be doing the exact same with Army of the Dead, which is why I'm always recommending actually to using Power Rune Weapon. We'll save it just in case you don't have enough runes to pop Army of the Dead at the end of popping your Gargoyle. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video there. My name is MetaGoblin. Until the next video, ciao.